Wow.
100 people. All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. We've got 100 people. We've got 79 chats. We've got Louise Matson. And we're so excited because we're leaving 2020 and entering 2021. And we've just been through a solar eclipse and a solstice and a timeline split and a conjunction and 2020 and all kinds of other goodies. And so we're going to play in those energies now, play in what's happening right now, what wants to come through. So, everyone on the call, thank you for being here. The fact that you're here, and everyone who's going to ever see this, since everything exists already, welcome. Thank you for being here. You're all contributing your energy, you're all adding to what's going to come through. And I'm so excited to have a container where we can come together and raise our vibration and share. So, we were talking at the beginning of this about harmony, about self acceptance, about coming into alignment with the truth of who you are, and leaving 2020 with all the stuff that no longer serves you in this life or any other life. So, I want to welcome Louise and share a little bit about her. So, Louise is an intuitive conscious channel, a conduit for energy healing, best-selling co-author, way shower, spiritual mentor, and guide. She channels source energy, sharing the messages through her Source Speaks blog and channeled healing journeys and healing work. She's the creator and host of a really wonderful series, Mundane to Magical. Isn't that the greatest title? And she assists people all over the world to come together as a high vibrational community. Yeah, supporting each other's ascension process. Perfect. So her purpose and mission, which is one of the reasons I love her, is she's one of the most soft, authentic, beautiful, divine feminine, and yet still like taking action. She's so committed to her journey, but in a way that she's listening within. And this was one of the things I just fell in love with you when we met, and is to guide and assist people along their path from disempowerment to standing in their sovereignty. And this is a wonderful idea for the gateway into the new year. Radiating their light openly to the world and empowering people to understand who they truly are as sovereign creator beings, realigning to their life purpose and true potential. So, welcome, Louise.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for inviting me onto this special show. It's an honor to be and be in the space with everybody as we traverse as gracefully as possible out of 2020 and into 2021. What a year. What a year it's been.
What a
We all knew it
year.
was going to be something special, but we didn't quite know what it was going to look like. But yeah.
It's a good thing, isn't it? It's a good thing we didn't know what it was going to look like. I used to want to know everything, and now I'm like, just tell me when I need to know. Right? I know, because there's so many enormous gifts inside of everything that we've experienced this year. Right? So tell us a little bit about your year, your ahas, your transitions, what you've seen happening and opening and breaking down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I'm not given insight into exactly what it's going to look like, but I'm given insight into the energy. And so I knew it was going to be big. I didn't know exactly what it was going to look like, but I knew it was going to be massive. I knew that often looks very challenging, but it was also going to be incredibly transformational. And so we've all been going through my personal journey as well, the caterpillar turning into the primordial soup, where everything's breaking down, and that can be really scary, that can be really uncomfortable, that can make us go, why did I decide to come here? Why did I put my hand out? What was I thinking on a soul level? And it has been a year where, although I've been doing work on myself, I've been doing shadow work, light work, I've been doing healing work for my whole life, really, clearing these patterns and programs of disempowerment, of abuse, of trauma, to be able to stand in my sovereignty. And really, over the last 5 years, massively accelerating that process. I was caught in kind of the March, when the lockdown hit, March and April. I took a massive dip. a massive dip straight into all of the programs that I have been dealing with and working on my whole life. And I sat there thinking, what on earth, was that all for nothing? I mean, how many layers of this stuff is there, But what was really beautiful was, whereas in the past on my journey, those moments would have completely kind of spun me into a shutdown, head in the sand. I call it the ostrich tendency. Put my head in the sand, la, 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 I'm not listening. I'm not doing this. I'm just going to pretend it's not happening. I didn't at all. I just allowed it to flow. So it's interesting that you've brought through this thing about flow, because that is the key thing that has come through this year. And it's been one of the messages that's wanted to come through on this speech as well. So I just flowed with it. I just completely allowed it. I allowed myself to break down. I allowed those inner walls that were still holding in some of the trauma, some of these automatic programs, some of this story of disempowerment that I've held on to be released, to be acknowledged, to be owned and expressed, and came out the other side. And came out the other side through poetry, which is often the way through me, kind of coming out into we are the light. And that's really what the message has always been. We are the light, we are the ones. And actually, as I did the reminder email for my audience about this talk, this is what came through. Remember, you are a radiant being of light, an individuated spark of the divine, the all that is. And your light shines through the darkness, even when you're not consciously intending this to be so. Sometimes on this journey, we can feel like we are faltering, or the road just seems too tough to continue on. And even in those moments, you are never alone. For Source shared with me a few months ago that alone is all one. So we are all on this journey together. And when your light feels dim, know that there are thousands, millions of us out there shining brightly, holding space for you until you come through your dark patch and are ready to radiate fully once again. And it was, you are loved. And I'm getting really big shivers and tingles through me now. You are loved, you are treasured, cherished, you are protected and nourished by the light that you are. So never, never let go of that, knowing it's not a cognitive, I understand this, I know this from in a way, a superficial level. It's that deep, deep inner knowing. You are the light that you're all seeking. The light is you, it's within you. And you are radiating even when you don't actually realize you're radiating. So let yourself feel like you're dimmed. Let yourself go through your dark night. Let yourself fully surrender to whatever is showing up in your inner landscape, because it's in doing that, it's allowing yourself to go to the depths of yourself, that you actually get to release it, express it, acknowledge it, recognize it, accept it and love it, and then let it go. Because the light holds all frequencies. You've got black light as well as white light. You're all of it. So we can't deny an aspect of ourselves. We can't just say, yeah, I'm going to have that bit, but I'm not going to accept this bit of me. It's like, it is the whole thing. And it's when you allow yourself to kind of really fully engage with all that you are and not hold any judgment on it. I mean, March and April for me was it's a blubbering wreck at times. It was just like, seriously, I thought I'd covered this stuff, all of the control stuff came up, the anger, the frustration, the despair, the disempowerment. It just all came up again right in my face. And it was like, okay, well, this is another level, another layer, whatever it is. I need to just acknowledge it and be with it. And then in doing so, it just cleared. And then I came out the other side of that more in my power, more in my power, in my sovereignty, and able to actually stand in my truth and create my reality from that space. It's really difficult to create the reality that you desire from a space of fighting against what is in front of you, conflict, either from fear or anger or whatever it is. But if you're in conflict with the reality that seems to be up in front of your face, trying to create the reality you want from that space is really hard. It's really hard because you're fighting with yourself. You're fighting with the emotions, the trapped emotions, the programs, and everything else that actually want to be acknowledged fully, for you to go neutral and then create reality from that. And that is where you stand in your power. I am that I am. And I've allowed that energy to come up. I've faced it. I've faced my dragon, George and the Dragon, whatever, all those storybooks with all of that kind of David and Goliath. It's like I'm facing it against the odds. And what will be, completely surrendering to this moment, letting all flow. And then I come out of the other side and there is no fear anymore.
Yeah. That's the best part, right? And it's acceptance. It's just accepting, right? And then you forgive, you let go, you flow, you go into harmony, you transcend without effort. And that, but it's not, and it's interesting too, if I bet there's many healers and psychics and whatever, and artists and people on here that channel and do all kinds of stuff. When you've done this work for a long time too, you get that bit of the thing like, oh no, I've done my work, like, or I know how this goes, I don't need to do that, or that's the old way or whatever. But the solution's inside of the problem, right? So if we ignore it, we just drag it around and trying to drag it into this next year. My sense is the breakdown, right? The metamorphosis, the breakdown phase we've been in, and we're still going to be in some ways, right? Is that it's a gift if it's accelerated. So like letting go that way and letting it fall. I was very similar. I had so much fear come up and I'm like, I don't have fear. Where's all this fear? I mean, I had to fear cleanse, like dark night of the soul shit, just like stuff like, oh, I've, not no peace around, like, oh, my kids are there and I can't, and all that. And that desperation goes away. And then you just go into it, accept it. And like you said, it's not hiding from it. And sometimes you want to be like, I've had enough for today, I'm not thinking about it. But, then you pick it up tomorrow. So, yeah. But the other side is freedom.
Yeah. But that's the other thing that wanted to come up, actually. I scribbled down a few notes. Basically, we have been calling in the freedom codes. We have been activating the freedom codes. Whether you're consciously doing it or not, that's what's been happening. And it was funny because when I was in Colombia a few years ago, I've been saying for the last 5 years, I want freedom and joy. And that's basically what I've held up as a comparison to everything that has come into my awareness. So the choice for me is, if this gives me freedom and joy, I'm in. If it doesn't give me freedom and joy, I'm not doing it. And so that's what I've held it up against. And it's kind of like, because the universe was saying, put out into the universe what it is that you want to create, but not in specific detail. Not like, I want to create Little House on the Prairie, yada, 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 with the, picket fence and all of that. So it's kind of like broad brush and then let go, have detachment. This is what I want. And so I sort of went for freedom and joy because it just came up and came through me. And when I was in Colombia, I realized actually I had absolutely no idea what freedom was. And that's very much attached to the disempowerment, standing in your sovereignty, because from a very small human perspective, we have absolutely no idea what freedom is. Just like we have absolutely no idea what joy is. We think we have a perception of what it is, and we can list a number of things that we would say, this is freedom, this is joy, but we've never experienced it. We have never experienced true freedom, true joy in this physical form, regardless of what your life path has looked like. And I had that realization on the flight back from Colombia, and I was like, oh shit, what have I just said? I've put out to the universe that I want freedom and I want joy, but actually freedom means detachment from everything. You know, freedom means I'm happy to lose everything.
Yeah.
You know, all my possessions, my relationships, my life.
The way that it looks right now. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
And so it was interesting because that is actually, from a collective perspective, what we've been calling in. And that is what we've been seeing this year. So you cannot have freedom with these old structures that we've lived with and lived in existence. You can't, because they're all boxes, they're all straight lines. And this was the other thing that's really been coming up strongly for me. It's like the human, the little human, likes straight lines. We have goals, we have going from A to B, we have destinations that we're heading to. What is my purpose? You know, where am I heading? What is the end destination? It's like Spirit's been telling me for years, it's not about the destination.
Yeah. Yeah,
enjoy the ride. It's about this now moment. It's about the next now moment. Live it fully, experience it fully. That's freedom. Don't have any attachment to what's coming, to how it's got to look, you know, to how it's going to feel. So, you know, we cannot have true freedom with these boxes that we exist in as the life that we understand life to be right now. So, you know, they've been showing me canals. You know, we literally created canals because we wanted to force nature into straight lines. We wanted to force the flow into this straight line that would be efficient and effective and all of these other good words that the humans really...
and it's about measurement and judging, right? Like, so we can measure how far we've gone. We can measure how much money we've taken. We can measure how many promotions we got. We can measure how big our house is, right? It's all about, and that's the building. That's the earth energy that we've been in, right? The energies have been in earth energies, been building energy, been masculine energy out of balance. And so we built a lot of things, right? But now that impetus to build has to come from that more balanced with the sacred feminine. I was curious if you were saying like it's about the moment, not the destination. And I've heard that for a bazillion years, right? And even well into my path, I'm doing this and learning that and all these things, and I'm traveling to these dimensions and all this stuff. And I'm still like, yeah, whatever, right? Like I didn't like, divine timing. I didn't like any of these kind of ideas. And then you realize, if you're in the moment, then the solution's already there. If you're out here trying to figure out, do I have the solution? Did I remember what I did? Am I good enough? Have I done my homework? Right? You're not in the moment. It's like I read about a tennis player, a tennis coach, who was like, told his tennis players, you have to just trust yourself when you're in the game, that you've already practiced. You don't go, am I standing right? Am I doing this right? Thinking of everything in the moment. You trust in the moment and you just flow with what you've done and what you've learned and what you have, right? But that's not the way we've been conditioned. So breaking that down is like really, well, pushing a lot of people's buttons. So in the moments of your biggest, deepest pains, did you have those moments of awareness? Because I had this death this summer, and then I became aware that I was dying, and then I went out of fear and consciously journeyed. And it was partway, several days into a couple-week journey, that I realized I was, oh, wait a minute, this is an opportunity. Holy cow, I'm in this severely altered state and I've let go of the fear. I better be here now. I better be present because this won't last. So even in those deep, dark moments, did you have some of those awarenesses and get to savor?
Yeah, I've kind of had I kind of experienced them like an out of body experience. So I'm kind of like in both spaces like in two-dimensional aspects in different times, so I can see myself going through it, and then I'm outside of myself looking down on it going, wow, okay, yeah, this is this is where we're at, and this version of me is like completely detached, and this one's going through it all. So I've kind of experienced it from that perspective, but it kind of, I've held on to both aspects of the knowing in that moment, and so it's been this kind of weird blend of having my human self kind of going through it all, and then my my other aspects kind of slightly separated, looking down on it, kind of taking in the whole picture and going, okay, right, we're just going to be we're just going to be through this, and having that knowing that this too shall pass. This is a temporary moment, regardless of what the end result is going to be. This is a temporary moment, and it's like, you know, there's a next moment to come, and you know, you haven't got there yet. So it's like it's not like you can do anything about it. You cannot bring it on because it's not in existence yet. And so it's just kind of let go of everything right now. And then it's kind of like the two aspects kind of come together and blend together, and then you're just like, okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
What will be, bring it on.
Yeah.
I said that a lot in my darkest times. It's like, okay, whatever, bring it on.
Exactly. That's the letting go or surrender. I used to hate that word, right? Just let it happen. My one daughter used to say, I'm like, let it happen. Come on, please. That sounds horrible. Just let it happen. But yeah, and letting it
Like
unfold.
victim. The let it happen sounds like something's been done to you. It's not,
Exactly.
you know, and it's like, and I guess it's like bring it on is as well. It's kind of like, it's as if something is going to happen to you, but it isn't. It's you happening to you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the kind of
Exactly.
weird
Yay.
realization that I've come
Yeah.
to in those moments.
That's the end of the world to the caterpillar, right? Is like, oh, it's the end of the world. And it's like, no, just, just let go, just trust. Hey, but in the moment, like you said, it's not built yet. I remember having this profound leap of consciousness when I was studying Mayan pyramids here, and that each level had meant a level of consciousness. And the ninth wave of consciousness is the unity, which we've been in now for a while. And it's right there. But if you went back to the 1950s or 60s or something, you couldn't go there. It wasn't built yet. Like you said, the structure wasn't there. There's the next level, but only that next level, right? And so be able to be there. Now it's there, and we're also being, I feel like, as we let go, like you go through these dark nights and you let go of who you were, and you just start saying, okay, I'll be in the moment. You watch things manifest almost effortlessly. You are involved, but because I think you're not in the struggle, you're not attached to when it happens or if it happens or that it happens this way. You're just like, hey, that might be kind of cool. And then it starts manifesting, and you sort of watch it, and you go in and out, and eventually it manifests or it leads you to something else. But there isn't that attachment, I think, that created so much of the drama before.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, there isn't the attachment to what the opportunity is going to look like, because I think that's what gets in a lot of people's way. And it's kind of like that story of the guy with the flood, and he gets all these different warnings from all these different people. And and he's there going, oh no, it's okay, you know, I'm down with God, you know, he's got my back. And it's like, even to the point where like the rescue team have come in, they've got the helicopter, it's like, come on, winch you away. No, it's cool, God's got my back, you know, we like this, you know. And ultimately he dies, and then he comes to the pearly gates and he's like, what the F? And God said, I sent you the radio message, I sent you the guy with the boat, I sent you, you know, what more do you want? You know. And it's like, we are so, again, these boxes that have been created by our little human self. We're so attached to the past and our projection of the future, of what it's going to look like, that we completely miss the opportunities. It's like, okay, with the whole situation in 2020, a lot of the opportunities are going to look like losses. They're going to look like my life has just fallen apart.
Yeah.
I've
Which
lost my
we've been
job.
taught means something negative, right? It's that what
Yeah.
we've been taught, that means you failed, you did something wrong, but I worked so hard and I bought this house and I thought I was going to stay here the rest of your life. Guess what? There's something better. Let it go.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is there is no such thing as failure. There is no such thing as failure, because it is what it is, and it's meant to be. And it's our attachment to what success. You can't have success without failure. So there is no such thing as failure or success, because
Exactly. Yeah.
there is no duality. From a higher consciousness level, it is what it is, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest major challenges in my life, the points in my life where I would have happily died and left, I would have happily just been blown away into specks of dust by the wind, were the most blessed, beautiful moments of my life, where everything that I held dear, everything that I held as important, everything that defined me, everything that I felt had been my successes and my failures, completely dissolved, completely fell apart. And I was shifted into a completely new everything, way of being, who I was, my perception of who I was, what I stood for. It was all changed. Where I lived, who I lived with, everything. I look back on them now, they were the biggest blessings. They were the biggest blessings, because I would not be here now, able to stand in my truth, able to know what feels in resonance with me, what doesn't feel in resonance with me, and to know that it doesn't matter, even if my ego is freaking out completely and going, do not do this, what are you thinking? If it feels in resonance and I have a pull, I'm going to do it. And that's exactly where I was when I left the NHS. And I could have taken a part-time job. Shoot, my manager was like, we don't want to lose you here, like work part-time. And I ended up saying, I'm a channel. I receive messages for people. Are you going to allow me to give that my team or anybody I come across the message that is dying to come through me at that time? No, you've got your manager back. And I'm like, well, I can't do that job then. I'm sorry. Because that is not me standing in my truth. And my ego was like, are you kidding me? just take the money. But I walked away. I walked away from everything. I didn't get a payoff. I just walked away. I left it. Really high paid job. I'd worked my whole career to get to that level. No, because I knew if I couldn't be me, then I couldn't do it. Because to do something that didn't allow me to stand in my truth in every moment, I knew was killing me.
Yeah.
Like literally, this body just would stop existing, because it was putting density within me each time I was untrue to myself. And I want to say unfaithful to myself. Because
That's a
we have
really
a
good term for it.
ourselves.
Yeah.
This is the most important relationship we have.
It is. And what you're talking about is like what I talk about actually on several readings I did this morning, was the idea that just because you don't see that the house is filled with smoke and you go, oh, I shouldn't go in there and breathe it, doesn't mean that the energy of another person, right, or a place isn't affecting you, isn't toxic for you. And like you were saying, like basically you're asking me to come to work every day but suffocate myself, like only eat or breathe half the air I need or eat half the food I need, right? Energetically, that's what it is. And that's what we can't, I think, is the breakdown personally and globally, is none of us can exist in that false facade anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that that's what you're finding this year. I mean, we talk about people awakening, and it really doesn't matter what is the trigger of someone's awakening process. It's perfect for them. So whether it's stuff about COVID, whether it's stuff about the election, whether it's stuff about your neighbor, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It's whatever is that piece of grit that is in your oyster shell that is turning into a pearl. And there will be a trigger, there will be something that when you are at that perfect moment, then it's like the floodgates are open and all of a sudden you enter and you can't leave. It's like when you've started entering yourself, there's no going back. You can't unknow what you know. And that knowing is that connection with your truth, that connection with who you truly are. And your bullshit meter, your bullshit detector is like kicking off big time. And it doesn't matter how uncomfortable that knowing is, you get to the point, and I've put my head in this, I will hold my hand up, I have put my head in the sand and carried on regardless for decades. But there comes a point when you cannot do it because it becomes physically painful.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully you do stop before you get sick, but people will wait to get out of a relationship until they're forced because they don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or leave a job or move to a new house or feel trapped. And I know a lot of people feel trapped. I see this a lot. Like, well, I'm stuck living here. I can't go anywhere else. There's a million, bazillion, trillion, infinite number of places and solutions that you could rise to if you walked into, right? This, I hate this place. I hate this, whatever I'm doing. So what else have you seen as far as a pattern? I know between working on yourself and working with clients like I do, you sort of see, pattern. I'm going to mute everybody. Okay, I'm going to have to unmute again. I'll ask you to unmute. I've seen these different patterns of more of the stuff coming up faster, accelerated shifts, lots of connections with other lives, like other lives coming forward for communication, to remind them of an agreement or a skill they have, or to be connected for some reason. And the idea that if you lost your job or something like that, that it's a blessing is really important, that it's not seen as a burden, like, oh, fine, you get what you get type of thing, right? It's because then you're carrying your shit with you into the into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the message that comes through a lot is like, what's in your backpack? What are you still holding in your backpack? Because even people, I mean, especially people who've done healing work, and like I say, where I was back in March, I would have said I cleared my backpack out. But there's like hidden compartments in that thing. It's like there was still stuff in there. And the message has always been, what are you still carrying in your backpack? Because you cannot take it with you. If you want to go through these gateways with grace and ease, you got to let go of everything that's in your backpack. You just got to let go of everything and just be and follow that knowing, follow your heart, follow, we call it being mindful, but I'd say it's being heartful, because actually the mind is programmed with what it knows and everything. Yeah. The other big thing that's come through is a lot of people are scared to stand in their power. A lot of people are really scared to stand in their power. Now, when I do past life stuff, I don't go into the stories because I don't actually want the ego to attach to the stories of the past, because you're just going to keep recreating those energetic cords. It doesn't matter how much clearing that is done, healing is done through me. If you go and reattach to all of the stuff, the story and everything, then you're just going to create that same, portal of all that stuff coming back into your light body again. So when I do past life stuff, I don't connect with the story very, very rarely, unless it's for a specific reason that the person needs to know something, I don't say where or when or whatever. I don't attach to any of the story. But one of the big things that has been coming through this year is this whole thing about disempowerment, and actually the realization that, you know, we are doing it all to ourselves. You know, let's not pretend that it's anybody else doing anything to us. We're creating whatever the reality is that we're experiencing, and it's all based on our internal landscape. The external reality is a mirror for our internal landscape. So we're creating it as a form of protection. We're creating it either to protect ourselves or to misguidingly to protect others from us. Because in past lives, we have been the destroyer of worlds. We have been the mass murderers. We have been the persecutor and the victim. We've played all the roles. Those people who are waking up or have been waking up over the last, you know, the light workers and people and starseeds, well, again, it's just words, just language, it's just key codes that will unlock different bits of knowing, more of yourself coming in. We have all played all of those roles. There isn't a role we haven't played. Why do I know that? Because you wouldn't be here at this time to assist everybody else who's waking up. Because you've had to have walked in their shoes.
Exactly.
You've had to have experience in everything that we're going to encounter. And you've got the gifts and the talents and the gnosis and everything to enable you to deal with it. So regardless of what it looks like out there and how disempowered you feel, or how like, oh my God, I can't cope with this, you can. You are. In every moment. You might be coping with it in a perceived messy way. And you might be coping with it in a way that you would be going, I would have liked to have done that a bit better. But you are coping with it because you've got everything you needed to be here now and to deal with it. All the people who don't want to face it, the cognitive dissonance, whatever it is, you've got everything in you to be able to deal with all that. So all the past life stuff has really been kind of like people coming to terms with the fact that they have been Attila the Hun, as well as, you know, the angelic one. You know, it's like allowing yourself to fully acknowledge all aspects of yourself. And you are not that now. You know, that was then, the past is gone. Whatever role you played, it was perfect for that time. You chose as a soul to go in. I'm going to do that part. Okay, we've got this play that we need to play out, and I'm going to pick this part. I'm going to be the bad guy in this one. I'm going to be the good guy. So it was all agreed. So there's no judgment on your soul level, you know. So let go of it, and not just let go of all the stuff you may have done in this life, but let go of everything that you're holding on to from all of the others. So a big thing that I've been doing with a lot of clients is like, to be able to stand fully in your power, it's kind of like I'm being shown that, I mean, we do exist on multiple dimensions at any given time, but it's kind of like there's an aspect of our energy that's in this existence. And there's a big bit that's in this kind of holding pen because we daren't unleash that on this world. And it's because we're holding on to this fear of everything that we've been. It's like, it's responsibility. Do I hold the responsibility to kind of, to be this powerful, to be my creator beingness?
Yeah.
Because when we go into, you know, fifth dimension and above, we're manifesting like that. But what you got to understand is, in fifth dimension, it's unity consciousness. It's that understanding that you are love.
Yeah.
You know, the whole kind of duality thing is gone. That's third and fourth.
Well, and you're all of it. So if you need duality to create something, you have both. You have that flow. It's consistent. Well, and that's why the paradigms have to die of the ideas that we're not good enough, or there's such a thing as good or bad, or not good enough, or that there's such a thing as. So what I find happens a lot is people we're letting go of an old paradigm where we don't know what we're turning into yet. And then there's these moments. My one client today said, I sometimes feel disoriented and I think I'm dizzy and I want to throw up, but I am not. And it's just like the gravity's different. Like there's just the different energies, right, that are available. So if you can't imagine yet what the new one will be like, right, just letting go of the old one and seeing where you flow is way more powering than taking this judgment, right? It's not fast enough, or it's not the way that I want it to be, the old idea of your self image. And
Mhm.
we can't, then we want to replace it with something, right? Because of the definition, the desire to define, right? Or to have a checklist. And so that idea of flow for me becomes trusting that I have had the training through all these painful experiences, now through everything, right? That in the moment, if I'm fully present, I'm connected to my higher self. I feel like I'm in the flow. I'm not faking it. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, okay, what's this? Then whatever I need will be there. And it'll be something I can't imagine now. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And this is it. It's like you really can't imagine what is possible because of these boxes that our little human self has created. But everything is limited by what we've known or what we've seen or what we've experienced or what somebody else has experienced. So you can't, it's very difficult from that space to kind of be open to all possibilities. And again, that was something in Colombia, I was sat there quite happily going, I'm open to all possibilities and opportunities. But then, when you're open to everything, you're open to both sides of the coin happening. But it's allowing yourself to be in that trust that, I came here for a reason. I may never fully appreciate or understand what that reason was, but in each moment, I am here for a reason. And so it's trusting, having that faith in myself, having that faith in whatever it is that I'm feeling inclined to do, that I'm being guided to do, and allowing myself to take action steps in alignment with that without you can have the ego voice. It's going to kick off anyway. So, just let it carry on. But like,
Right?
it's
Just
going
say,
to
"Oh,
go.
hi, there you are again."
Absolutely. But not giving it your power,
Yeah.
not handing your power over to that voice or anybody else's voice of dissent, but just allowing yourself to go, okay, this is what I'm feeling, and therefore I'm going to trust this and I'm going to
I
take steps in alignment.
Yeah, I think that in the moment, there's so much depth that we haven't been able to appreciate or fully access because we've been so full of agendas. We've been so full of trying to make things happen with our minds and our bodies, and working harder and being better and acquiring things and whatever else we've all, been playing at. But like the hero's journey, the hero goes out of the ordinary world, right? Gets all these experiences and then dies, quote unquote, right? And has to face those demons and walks through the underworld and then re-emerges with the new powers, with the new awareness at a higher level, like a spiral. So if you've gone through many, many of these different kind of breakdowns this year, like many of us have, right? And there's more to come, that letting go of that paradigm that there is a goal line, that you've, oh, but I thought I did this already. Just be in acceptance, like, oh, okay, this again, oh, that's interesting, we're doing this again, thank you. It's not choosing, it's accepting, right? And then you have the solutions in the moment that becomes super exciting. So what about galactic content, Diana says. Um, so what do you feel is there anything you want to do, or any other message or anything you want to share for this, taking what we've been talking about and what people can tune into as they as we flow into the new year?
It is about flow. It is about allowing those straight lines to dissolve, allowing the canals, the lines that we've built that define us and define our direction and our purpose and who we are and what we're here to do and all of that to just dissolve and crumble. And it's kind of like allowing nature to take over again. So that's like the straight lines are kind of like the divine masculine, um, kind of stamping its sign upon the earth, and then it's like the divine feminine coming in and just like caressing it and just overgrowing it. And then, you know, it's like those beautiful ruined cities that you see in the jungles, you know, where the vines and everything are just growing through the rocks and things, and it's becoming this merged existent, you know, this merged thing. It's becoming something new but more beautiful because it's joined. And it's allowing yourself to meander. It's allowing yourself to meander. It's allowing yourself to not have a purpose at times. You know, to be in your still pond. You know, we find that so frustrating because we're so focused on doing. We've got to get things done, we've got to see progress. But actually, I've got the most things done when I've allowed myself to be completely still and not judge that stillness, and just allowed myself to do nothing and just be in that moment. You know, even though again the ego is like banging on about lists and to do this, that and the other, and you know, what are you going to do about money if you don't produce? Well, it's just like, well, I can't actually produce anything in this energy. So I'm just going to be in this energy and allow it to be as long as it needs to be, because in this energy, I'm in the divine feminine and I'm receiving.
Yeah.
And we can't actually create without receiving the inspiration first.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
Exactly. We have to breathe in first. Yeah. Right.
absolutely.
You have to receive. That's a big, big thing because we've been punished and criticized and humiliated and ridiculed and outcast and beheaded and burned at the stake and everything else, right? For having, for doing, for helping, for acknowledging our talents, for being good enough. Yes, it's interesting the dichotomy, but I think the struggle is relaxing. One of my clients, I think she's here, she always reminds us of if you're a Harry Potter fan, I forget which one of the first two, they're going through the different steps and they go and there's this vine that grabs them and it's squeezing them. And the more they struggle, the tighter it squeezes. And then she figures out to stop, to let go, and it lets go of her and she falls through. And the two of them figure it out. One of them still up there struggling. They're like, stop struggling, let go. You're not going to make it through. I think it's such a great analogy. Yeah. For letting go of that struggle. Well, so what do we do? Is there anything special that you have that people could do, like on the New Year's Eve? You know, being with yourself. I really think that was an excellent idea at some point in this
Yeah,
portal to
really,
spend time
really
with yourself.
strongly being in nature as well. You know, allowing yourself to connect into nature in whatever way that gets to look for you. And again, don't judge it. It doesn't have to. You see, we're coming out of this paradigm where there's rules. Even in the spiritual community, we've had rules, we've had ways of doing it. You got to burn a white candle. No, it's got to be a green candle. What, you know, you got to have these crystals. This crystal means this thing. No. Just allow yourself to be guided by what's coming through you. You know, and if that means sitting on the toilet, then go and sit on the toilet. If that means, because you're with water, if that means going out and hugging a tree, go out and hug a tree. If it means doing some form of ceremony, go and do some form of ceremony. But let it be you authentically being guided by you. It's not about being dictated to or feeling again that what's coming through me isn't good enough. I'm comparing myself to like what somebody else might be doing. It doesn't matter. You know, they don't exist in my universe. I'm the only one that exists in my universe, and everything else is created from me. So, you know, I'm creating, I'm going out and doing what I'm guided to do. So that is the biggest thing. Let go of the rules. Let go of the rules because they are just the straight lines that are keeping you boxed in. Really allow yourself to kind of connect in and get honest with yourself. In this moment, for this gateway, for me to pass through with the utmost ease and grace, what do I get to do? Because part of the stuff we've got in the backpack is all of these rules about how things have to look and be on the spiritual path. And it's actually what's holding us back.
Yeah.
Thinking to heal, I have to do this, or, I have to say these words, or whatever it is,
Yeah,
I
you wake up, I've done enough. I haven't done enough. Oh, I have done enough. It's right here, but I didn't see it.
Exactly. I mean, when I'm in session, and this was a big lesson for me, because I'm a channel, I always have been, but I'm a conscious channel. I don't go into trance states. I don't, speak in a different voice. It's just me. And somebody said to me once, "You're just talking to yourself." And I said, "Yes, I am." But it's the higher dimensional aspect of myself that I'm opening up to. And this is what it's about. It's allowing more of you to come in.
Yeah.
And allowing your truth to be equal with everybody else's. Doesn't have to be the same, but it's equal. So just allow yourself to let more of yourself in. And one way of doing that is to release all the rubbish that we've been holding on to. And that includes all of the spiritual paraphernalia and dogma and whatever doctrine it is. I have no problem with people using tools if that's what you're guided to use, whether it be cards, whether it be crystals, whatever. I mean, sometimes stuff pops up and says, I want to, use this spray or use this crystal or bring this color ray in. Fine, but allow it to come through you. Don't let it be something that you've read in a book or somebody said you have to do. It's through you. It's true to you. So yeah, stillness, being in nature. And again, stillness. What is stillness? Stillness doesn't mean sitting in a lotus position or some other uncomfortable position. If you can't do that, don't judge yourself. My hips can't sit in that position for a long time.
The only time I did that was when I was on ayahuasca and I didn't know how I was doing it. I was like, oh, that looks painful.
You're going to feel that.
I'll feel that later. I don't think I did, though. Yeah, that was weird.
But it's like, stillness is just whatever it is to you. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I find stillness when I'm cleaning the bathroom, because actually that's one of my biggest spiritual practices, because I'm completely in my zone. I'm like doing something that my body knows automatically, and I'm just in stillness.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Not my favorite thing, but I know what you mean. I've finally learned that mindfulness isn't doing boring shit and trying to make it spiritual. That's what I used to be like. Oh, fine, clean, cook, do this stuff and be happy, be grateful. I had to get through that too. Now I'm just like, I love being present. Like you said, just being. See what's going to come in. Beautiful.
Something that was coming through. I had a dream, which was a really prophetic dream, and I woke up in one of those kind of I'm awake states. It was like, okay, I need to write this down or remember it. And I did a little video about it on my Facebook. But basically, I was on a path, and the path was absolutely full of poisonous snakes. And it wouldn't have mattered which position or where I placed my foot, I was going to disturb one of those snakes and it was going to bite me. And the biggest sensation was this feeling of frustration and feeling stuck. And that basically sums up 2020 for me. It's like the road is completely full of poisonous snakes, and it feels like no matter where I try and step to try and move in the direction that I want to go, in some way, shape, or form, I'm going to get bitten. And so this kind of feeling of frustration and being stuck. But almost instantaneously, and this is what feels like is coming in 2021, the path was pretty much cleared. There was one or two poisonous snakes on the outer reaches of the path, but the majority of them were gone. And so I was able to then move forward. So there was this real sense. Now, I'm not saying that 2021 is suddenly going to be ping, this ray of light. I feel that there's going to be what people consider challenging moments in 2021. But again, it's shifting your perception of what challenge means or is. You know, like I say, some of the biggest challenging aspects of my life have been the biggest blessings, the biggest turning points, the biggest shifts in consciousness. So this path is actually going to clear really, really fast. I can't say when, I can't say how long that's going to be, but that was the sensation that I was getting. And the next, I kind of then went into a completely new dream, which was I was back where I worked with all the senior managers that I worked with. And there was kind of like this angelic figure, really high vibrational figure. And I'd been called in because there was this person that has healed from a trauma, and the physical trauma had healed quickly. But I was there to show them that actually the biggest part of the healing is under the surface. You know, people can heal from trauma and look like they've healed from trauma. The cuts and the bruising has gone. But actually, the biggest part of the trauma is in the energetic layers, the emotional layers, the mental layers, the spiritual layers. And so it was about bringing this new, well, not new, it's old wisdom, but bringing this new wisdom, new to these medical model people, into the mix. Because it's kind of, again, it's not the complete dissolution of everything that we've known. It's the creation of this new way of being, which is taking all the good bits from everything that we've known and mixing it together with all of the new or old ancient wisdom, you know, the knowing that we're bringing through from our higher dimensional aspects of self. And so I do see big shifts. They may not all happen in 2021, but we're certainly going to start seeing the start of that. And it's going to be an ongoing thing for the next few years. So, you know, this isn't going to be over like that, because it has already happened, but we have to physically walk the timelines within the physical arena. So it was very positive. Both of them were very positive, but I'm not saying that from an individual perspective, it's all going to be love and light in 2021. But it is, because challenges are also love and light. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's going to be different. It's not, I don't think either of us are making predictions on wearing masks or COVID in particular, or whatever path unfolds this way. But if you study many of the ancient scriptures and the predictions from astronomers and all kinds of things, is this is a 5 to 7 year process potentially, right? And when you think about breaking down an entire paradigm of how we think, what we do, what we believe, how we sense, opening our senses to a new thing, you think of it as a transition rather than, you know, when's it going to be over? When's it going to be over? Because we don't know what joyful thing is going to happen in each moment. Right. So it might be like we've said, we look back at those super painful moments and go, wow, that was the greatest thing ever. And
yeah,
we can move into this new year, new number, new reality, new container, right? With more, I feel like more wizened, more savvy spiritually. You know, I feel like a lot of spiritual community people are raising their ability to say, oh, okay, I don't need to know, or I might know, or I'll know later what the meaning of this breakdown is. But that trust, being in the process and allowing the unfolding and be in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest messages was be aware of what you are ingesting energetically as well. So, you know, the people that you're mixing with, the whatever you're watching and absorbing from an information perspective, what you're eating. So for me, 2020 also introduced fasting to me, which is something that my body was asking for, but my ego was scared of. and I did it. I started it, and I managed 11 days, which my ego could have gone, oh, well, you said you were going to do 20 days, but let that one go, and just went, wow, I did 11 days. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to do another one. And I feel that fasting for me is going to be part of the process of clearing my backpack, because clearing the backpack is on your physical level, your emotional level, your mental level, your spiritual level, all aspects of your existence in whatever dimension, reality, or timeline you're existing in this moment. Yeah. Clearing your backpack encompasses everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and one of the things to remember is don't get resistant to, oh, I have to change how I eat, or, oh, I have to not do this, because I've done the same thing. We changed early last year, changed how we ate. And we eat all this green food and all this kind of stuff. And it started out, sure, you could be motivated from fear. And then eventually being motivated by fear is the energy that you're putting into it. But I realized that what happened was it dropped all attachments to food, right? And so it's not being deprived, which is the way people have approached changing their diet for whatever reason, health or weight or whatever, right? And so I've lost 80 pounds, but the point wasn't to lose weight. And I never talked about it because someone said, what's going on with you? You look so good. I was like, well, why don't you talk about it? Because I wasn't doing it for anybody else. It was me morphing into who I'm here to be. And so those things, those new lifestyles, those new ways of doing things are, they can be a big shift, but remember not to let, like you said, the ego mind pull you back and say, oh, you're not being allowed to eat this or do this. There's other really amazing pleasures that come, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that really massively, I started communicating with my body consciousness, like really communicating, like openly speaking out loud to my body consciousness and asking it what it wanted. I mean, how many of us actually ask ourselves what we want or need?
Yeah,
in each moment,
exactly.
It's like, and then if we do ask, how many of us listen and actually take action?
Yeah.
Your body consciousness said, I want to go to sleep, and it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. How many would actually allow yourself to go to the bedroom and go and lie down?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you said that, because what happens is my partner, Chris, my soulmate, had a really severe seizure over a year and a half ago, and our life changed instantly. And he can't go out, he can't handle loud noises, he can't, like, all these things. And so it was exactly exactly what happened was we were already staying home, we were already doing all of these inner things. And so it was always the left turn, had already happened in that sense. And then I saw, wow, if I had kept going at my stress level, what was potential, and that then came to fruition. So everything is an opportunity, everything is a blessing, everything.
Absolutely. Oh. The view keeps changing.
I know it's supposed to change when we talk, but it's really laggy, so I don't know.
I keep freaking out because it's like, oh, it's gonna get okay. Yeah, so there was something that wanted to come through, but I'm really conscious of the time, so I just wonder if
yeah. Go on.
You want to do it?
Yeah, that's why we're here.
Well, it's actually what, from a shamanic perspective, we would call a disembodiment or a dismemberment. And it is kind of like the process of clearing your backpack, allowing yourself to let go of that which is ready to be let go of in this moment. And that's one of the things. It's like, even with the clearing work and the healing work that we do, don't judge it. If you're only ready to let go of a little bit, then that's fine. You're ready to let go of that bit, rejoice in that, and if you're ready to jump off the cliff entirely and let go of everything, great. But no judgment on either. You are where you are and everything is perfect. And if you have any resistance to anything, than just be where you are in this moment. 2 years ago when we had the 8-8 gateway, I got to the gateway, I connected with the Sirius Lions. I couldn't get through, and I was so pissed off. I was so annoyed. I'm like, seriously, what do I need to do to get through? And then the next year, I had massive back pain, and that back pain was me clearing, and that's what I needed to let go of for me to get through the gateway that next time. And so, you know, we are where we are in each moment, and it's perfect. So don't judge it, just allow it. Whatever we resist, we persist. So, you know, it is what it is. Just go with your own flow, and wherever you are is perfect. So, okay. So I just want you to get comfortable. And if you can, allow your feet to be on the ground. But if your feet aren't on the ground because of how you're sat, or you may be laid, then just allowing your perfect column of light that runs through the center of your being to connect in and through the earth's energy, the many layers, all the way down, connecting into the diamond heart of Gaia. Just allowing that flow back of the golden crystalline energy flowing back up through your clear and perfect channel. Allowing yourself to receive the energies of the earth, stabilizing you in this now moment. And as you allow this golden crystalline energy to rise up through your column of light, just having the awareness of that column of light being open all the way up. And connecting into the diamond photonic plane of the source field, the all that you are. And again, allowing that energy, that diamond photonic crystalline light to flow down, creating the toroidal field that you are. For you are a portal. We are each and every one of us portals of light, existing within the physical plane of existence and all other dimensions, realities, and time frames. And as you breathe in, you are receiving. You are receiving the light that you are. Bringing that light through each of the dimensional aspects of you, from the highest all the way down to the lowest vibrational frequential aspect of your being, your physical form. And as you breathe out, you release all that you are ready to release in this moment, without judgment, from that still point of divine neutrality. So just now allowing yourself to connect into your heart space, and allowing your heart space to expand, connecting into this stillness, this neutrality, the divine love, light love that you are. And within this space, you see a stairway of light leading upwards. And this stairway of light is leading up to the 12-1-21 gateway. And as you ascend the stairs, you become aware of a guardian. The beautiful divine being of light stood in front of this gateway. Just allow the gateway to look and feel and be whatever is perfect for you. And allow yourself to see, sense, feel, or just know that this guardian is there waiting. And they have so much love for you. For they are you. The highest vibrational aspect of yourself. And upon reaching the top of the steps, they ask that you look behind you at everything that you are holding on to, you are carrying, you are dragging behind you. Some of you may see or feel shackles, chains, cords, heavy ropes from sailing ships of olden times. You may see, sense, feel, or just know various things. Whatever you experience is perfect for you. The perfect symbolic representation of all that you are holding and all that is holding you down. And this guardian is asking you to release that which you are ready to release. To let go of the chains, unlock the shackles, lovingly cut the cords, empty whatever objects, articles are within your backpacks, your baggage. Whatever is perfect for you in this now moment to release, in readiness of stepping across the threshold of this gateway on the 12th of January 2021. Whatever it is that you are ready to release, regardless of how big or small, your guardian is there to assist you. So even if you feel ready but don't know how, your guardian will step in and assist in the perfect way for you. So just allow. And some of you will start to feel lightness. Some of you may experience harmonic tones or experience lights. Just allow. Allow all to perfect. All is perfect. Let go of any judgment, any resistance you may be holding. And the residue of the energy from all that you have released is being transmuted and returned to source through your perfect column of light for transmutation. For energy can neither be created or destroyed. It is merely transformed. And all of the density, that you have been holding on to, that has been holding you down, weighing you down, is lifting and being transmuted back into the diamond, photonic, crystalline white light for you to receive once again. And when you have allowed yourself to let go and release all that you are ready to release in this now moment, the guardian opens the portal, the gateway, so that you can look into your future timeline, that which you are ready to step into on the 12th of January 2021. Just allow yourself to receive the light codes, the information, the images, the energy flowing to you in this perfect moment. And know that you can connect in through your heart center at any time you feel drawn to with this gateway, with your guardian, as and when you feel ready to release more of the density that is holding you in this now moment. But knowing that all is perfect and all will transpire in perfect timing. So allowing yourself to be exactly how you are in this now moment, and allowing each now moment to come to pass. Your guardian places their hand upon your heart center and transmits some light codes, some key codes. For some, they will be freedom codes. For others, they are strength, clarity, enlightenment. Whatever it is that you require to be ready, to be exactly where you're meant to be on the 12th of January. And this guardian is also transmitting so much divine love. As you allow more of yourself to flow into your being, taking up the space created by this release. Feel the warmth flooding through your system, like the warm glow of a beautiful hug from the most beloved. We give thanks to the guardian for their assistance in this moment. And for their connection, their love, and the gifts that they have bestowed upon us. As we allow our awareness to return to our heart space, this expanded, enlightened space filled with divine love and light, filled with more of our divine aspects of being, the love and light that we are. And as we breathe in, receiving more of our own light and feeling that filling our lungs, our physical bodies, filling our emotional bodies, mental bodies, spiritual bodies, all the way out to the furthest most reaches of our torus field, and radiating out into the wider world and the external landscape that we live within. And bringing our awareness back to our physical forms, recognizing with that deep inner knowing that this is the tip of the iceberg of who we truly are. And that there is so much more of us to fill with our inner light. And there is so much more of our inner light to fill us. Allowing your awareness to come to your fingers, your toes, your physical body and the space that it's in. Bringing movement back into your body. Stretching, wiggling fingers, wiggling toes. Whatever you require to bring you back into this moment. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. And welcome back.
Lovely. Beautiful. Well, that was a guardian I've never seen before for me, so that was cool. Oh, thank you so much, sweetie. Thank you for that gift. Thank you for you. Thank you for everything you shared and coming and spending some time with us, and looking forward to playing in the new year together.
Oh no, it's my pleasure. It's my honor. Thank you for inviting me and allowing me to share space with you all. I never know what's going to come through. That's one of the beauties of
I know, right? I love it. Oh, well, Jenny says, beautiful, thank you. And Claudia said, so gentle, it's amazing. JJ said, thank you. And Claudia said, thank you. And Anne said, thank you. And Anka. And Julie says, I'm feeling blessed. Thank you kindly. Thank you from Divya. And Tracy said, that was so wonderful. My guide was my dad and my mom was there too. I journaled this morning about freedom. This is what I got from them both. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Beautiful. Thanks, Catherine. And Jackie says, very powerful. Devaki said, thank you, Louise. It was powerful. Natalie said, thank you so much. Elena, beautiful meditation. Thanks, everybody. It was amazing. Oh, delicious. Thank you, sweetie. Big hugs. Take care.
Thank you for having me. Enjoy the rest of your event.
Thanks. All right, everybody. How wonderful. So we're going to take a 5-minute break and we're going to start the readings. So we've gathered together everybody who put their names in the chat. and you can still go ahead and add your name. What I'll do when I come back is tune in, and we'll let spirit guide us into what and who and where and how it will unfold. So don't go away. We're going to just take a quick break. I'm going to stop the recording